Hey folks, Pickleball Librarian here. I am at the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, a very cool historical site. So what's so neat is once upon a time, very talented black baseball players weren't allowed to be in the Major League of Baseball, and they probably were the best players in the whole darn world. So they had their own league, and the only thing white was the baseball. What a shame. So, you know, I learned more about this because their chairman, Buck ONeil, was just a famous guy. He was very, very instrumental in creating this 18th and Vine area. And this is a book called The Soul of Baseball. It's a road trip through Buck ONeil's America. And written by journalist Joe Panansky. And I've met Joe, I've heard him speak. Another famous author I like with in the subject is Phil Dixon. So shout out to you, Phil. These are all great books on the subject, worth learning about. But Soul of Baseball is special because this is about Buck ONeil through his last days. So Buck, he's sitting there waiting because at the time they were letting in players slowly into the Hall of Fame. And Buck was waiting for his call. He wanted them to let him into the Hall of Fame. And he just waited and waited, and unfortunately he did not get that call. And this book just tells you about how, I'm sorry, I get emotional thinking about this, but this man, he was always optimistic, not just about baseball, but about life. And Buck, incidentally, not only was he involved in the Monarchs and being a manager, I don't know if you can see right there, but the guy, so right inside there is a baseball field, and that's Buck ONeil right there because he's the manager. So that's Buck ONeil being a manager. Very cool. And this book, just read this book. I guarantee this, I would tell you that this is the best baseball book you'll read, and it is. It's amazing. Gosh, I wish I could tell you more about it, but there's a neat part. Read the part about him, what he says about a woman on a red dress. It's neat. And so here's another thing. After he passed away, the Major League Baseball named a special award after him. So he did make it in the Hall of Fame after all. And while I'm talking about baseball, let me get into paddles. This is the coolest shirt by Prolite. And I gotta tell you, I appreciate Prolite because when they say celebrate diversity, they mean it. They're not kidding around. They realize that we're all human, we all come from different walks of life, and they celebrate that. It's great. So I'm gonna tell you about my favorite Prolite paddle, all right? I do like the Rebel Pro, and I like the LX2 series. I like this new carbon fiber. I mean, you don't really feel the fiber, it's like bumps. It's really neat, and I love it. To me, out of all the paddles, I really like the side-to-side dinking on this. I feel like I could rip the ball, get the top spin going with this. And I also like the version with the long handle. And since we're in Kansas City, let's mention Just Paddles. That's located in Kansas City too. And you know, where I am, I'm a state away. They'll shoot the paddle out to me and I'll get it the next day. Wherever you are in the country, it's not gonna be long to get to you. So this paddle has a ton of control. I really like it. Yet with the long handle, I'm able to be effective on offense too. So, and it retails for $189.99. So another good paddle. So by the way, the reason why I mentioned Prolite is a couple of my favorite players. All right, Marcus Luke, shout out to him. He really loves baseball and he's really into the history of the Negro Leagues Baseball Hall of Fame. And also the shout out to the head of Prolite right now, Mark Friedenberg. This guy's amazing. He really believes in diversity too. And he's also played baseball. So that's why I brought in Prolite. Now the last connection. Franklin is involved with pickleball, but they made their name out of baseball. And this is my favorite Franklin paddle. Aspen Kern uses this paddle. I love it. Lots of control on this. So let me compare the two paddles, all right? The Prolite has a longer handle, slightly longer. All right, this one's $100, this is $180, so there's a price difference. Personally, I feel the build quality is just a little better with the Prolite. You know, because I've had a couple of these and sometimes they do chip off near there, but just mainly cosmetic, it hasn't been structural. And this one is just built nicely. I mean, I've played with this, it still looks brand new, it feels good in my hand. And also here, between the two paddles, I would say this one has more control. So if you pop up a lot, try this paddle, give it a shot. It's very nice. Now this one does not have, this one has a little less control, but more power. So both these paddles are great, $189.99 and $99.99. And both of these paddles and their owners have some kind of connection to baseball. And I'll put the links in here, and also link to this book on Amazon. You know how geeky I am? So I own the Kindle version. This book, by the way, I bought for a friend of mine who is now no longer with us. So I thought it was important to have this book here. And this is a shout out to Larry Donahue too, wherever he is. And God bless him. And both these panels. And this, if you're ever in Kansas City, folks, visit this place. It is definitely Pickleball Librarian approved.